Oh, faithfully sharing value and exploring great books worldwide. Hello, this is Sally's Book Talk. Today we're interpreting the book Startup Nation with the subtitle The Story of Israel's Economic Miracle. Oh, speaking of Israel, many folks aren't unfamiliar. It's the world's only Jewish state. Its land area is only 25,770 square kilometers, smaller than China's Hainan province, with two-thirds covered by desert. Well, natural resources are pretty scarce, to say the least. Moreover, Israel's relations with neighboring countries are tense, with conflicts nonstop since its founding. But under these circumstances, in just 60 or 70 years, Israel became the country with the highest startup density, most per capita R&D spending, largest per capita venture capital, the most NASDAQ-listed firms outside the US, and nearly half of the world's top tech companies have acquired R&D centers started by Israelis. Home. How did Israel develop so many new ventures in such chaos, and what lessons can we learn? The book Startup Nation provides the answers. The book has two authors, an American, Dan Senor, and an Israeli. Saul Singer and Dan Senor are senior researchers on Middle East issues for U.S. government foreign policy advisors. The other author, Saul Singer, is a columnist for well-known outlets like the Jerusalem Post as editorial editor and for the Wall Street Journal, CNN commentary, and others. Once published, the book was hugely popular worldwide, quickly becoming a global bestseller. The book focuses on Israel's economic rise using tons of facts and cases to deeply analyze how Israel grew from a tiny place to a startup nation, covering root causes and practical experiences. The authors believe Israel's success stems from multiple areas: political, cultural, social, military, and more. Next up, we'll summarize the two most valuable key points: the military service system and talent strategy. Let's talk about why Israel became a startup nation. First, let's dive into the first key point: Israel's unique military service system. Mm. You might think, which country doesn't have a military service system? Well, there's not much worth saying about that. Uh, that Israel's military service system is super unique with three key aspects. First, flexible and varied combat training that fosters young people's minds and innovative thinking. Second, the management style with blurred hierarchies fosters Israelis' fearless and unrestrained attitude in doing things. Third, the life experience of universal military service provides a strong network of connections. First, let's look at the first unique aspect: flexible and varied combat training that cultivates young people's minds and innovative thinking. Israeli conscription law stipulates that all citizens, regardless of gender, must serve unless under special circumstances. After completing service, except for a few who continue to serve, all others are transferred to the reserves. That is to say, military service has a significant impact on every Israeli, even more important than their academic experiences. In job interviews, a must-ask question is which department you served in the military. Thus, the importance of military service to Israelis is evident. In many people's view, the military values discipline, uniformity, and emphasizes unified thinking. However, this emphasis on order often leads to conformity and groupthink. But for Israel, serving in the military doesn't lead to rigidity. Instead, it fosters more innovative drive. In Israel, platoon commanders are around 23 years old, each managing 100 soldiers, 20 officers, and squad leaders, 3 vehicles, and overseeing equipment like 120 rifles, machine guns, bombs, grenades, etc. More importantly, on the battlefield, platoon commanders face countless troubles, and they can't rely on finding solutions from books. Oh, and in many situations, they have to make life or death decisions in just 1 or 2 seconds. In 2006, during the Lebanon War, a 20-year-old helicopter pilot named Yossi Klein was ordered deep into southern Lebanon to rescue an injured soldier. When he flew to the battlefield, he found that the injured soldier was surrounded by dense bushes, making it impossible for the helicopter to land normally. And even hovering, he couldn't get close enough to the ground. Books never taught how to solve this problem, so he had to rely on his own wisdom and adapt. Eventually, Klein used the helicopter's tail rotor to chop down the surrounding plants. Although this risked damaging the rotor and causing a crash, Klein mustered courage and successfully completed the mission. Such flexible and adaptive combat experiences allow Israelis to shoulder immense pressure at a young age, rapidly maturing their minds. Oh, when the maturity of mind and youthful impulsiveness come together, the energy it unleashes is just immeasurable. That's precisely why elite units like the Air Force Infantry Intelligence and IT departments in the Israeli military have become incubators for high-tech startups. One such institution is called Talpiot, hailed as the cradle for nurturing innovative talents in Israel. Talpiot means Tower of the Castle, symbolizing supreme achievement. This is a military institution focused mainly on tech innovation with incredibly high admission standards. In Israeli high schools, only the top 2% of students get to even try out for selection. And out of those, only 1 in 10 actually passes the tests. Crucially, these students learn in live fire situations, tackling real problems, challenges that stump most folks, like, say, embedding remote comms networks into terrorists' phones. The hallmark task is finding cross-disciplinary solutions for specific military issues. Take, for instance, pilots getting back pain from resonance mid-flight. A team nailed a fix. They cut a hole in the pilot's seat back, stuck a pen on their back, filmed the vibrations with a high-speed camera, crunched the data on a computer, and redesigned the seat. Oh, see this one tweak? It weaves in motion analysis, data crunching, and ergonomic studies. Real interdisciplinary mastery. Stats show that over 30 years, Talpiot's produced just 650 graduates, but everyone became a top expert or founding CEO in Israel. Israel's military training system expands soldiers' minds while molding that mixed, innovative spirit Israelis are known for. So, what's mixed? In Israeli terms, it's blending different tech and fields together. Innovative mixing as a mindset, a super creative way to spark game-changing tech advances and birth whole new industries. That's why Israel leads the world in patent numbers and diversity. Oh, the book mentions an example of mixing weapons and medicine. Typically, missile and medical technology are two completely separate fields. But Israeli missile engineer Gabriel Egan didn't think so. He had a novel idea while developing missile guidance systems to use the latest miniaturization tech from missiles to create a pill-sized camera that captures and transmits images inside the human body. Although many thought it was impossible, Iden stuck to his idea and eventually succeeded in developing the capsule camera. Don thus founded a company named Given Imaging. Within 8 years of its founding, the company sold 500,000 capsule cameras. The new generation of painless capsule cameras can delve into a patient's gastrointestinal tract, capturing 18 frames per second continuously for hours, aiding doctors in treatment decisions. Next, let's look at the second unique aspect, a management style with blurred hierarchies, fostering Israelis' unrestrained and audacious approach to doing things. Generally, when people think of military culture, they associate it with strict hierarchies and absolute obedience. Each soldier is just a tiny screw in the war machine, but in Israel it's different. Whether in the defense forces or reserves, the concept of hierarchy is blurred. In the Israeli Defense Forces, soldiers can even directly override their officers. During the Second Lebanon War, 9 soldiers and officers were killed in a battle, with many others severely wounded. The surviving fighters believed it was the battalion commander's poor leadership that caused such heavy casualties. So they went to the brigade commander, accused the battalion commander of incompetent performance in battle, and he was forced to step down. This culture of ignoring hierarchy extends from the military to Israelis' work style. So in the book, the author uses the word audacious to describe Israelis' work style. To illustrate this culture, I'll tell you two multinational company cases so you can feel Israelis' work style. When former Chief President Thompson attended a meeting in Israel, he personally experienced this audacity that every employee present, though not Thompson's peers or supervisors, asked sharp, insightful questions without holding back due to his status, making even the battle-hardened Thompson a bit nervous facing them. Intel's VP Dermer once sighed, managing 5 Israelis is tougher than managing 50 Americans because they constantly question you. Though discussions get heated and everyone flushes with passion, the arguments focus on solving problems with little backbiting. This way, it cuts time wasted on gossip while sparking ideas through intellectual collisions. The third unique aspect of Israel's military service is how universal service gives entrepreneurs a powerful network. After service, Israelis spend weeks yearly in reserve training, stepping away from careers and personal lives. In this environment, peers from diverse cultures and industries collaborate together. Through shared training, they weave an interconnected social network. In this web, everyone knows an entrepreneur, whether a family, classmate, or army buddy. When you start a business, they'll help, sometimes solving problems with just one call. Just imagine what entrepreneur wouldn't want such vast connections. Overall, Israel's unique military system kills multiple birds with one stone. While defending the nation, it shapes citizens through innovative thinking, work attitudes, and networks. These are precisely the core qualities needed for entrepreneurship. In other words, military service lays the groundwork for startups, boosting national capability, and making entrepreneurship accessible. And beyond military service, talent mobility plays a key role. That's the second major point. Israel's talent strategy injects powerful momentum into entrepreneurship. This strategy has 3 pillars: immigration policy, higher education, and funding support. First, Israel's immigration policy differs. It doesn't accept investors, immigrants, or tech workers in the traditional sense. Their founding declaration explicitly states free immigration with no quotas, unthinkable elsewhere. Israel can do this because it's a special move in unique circumstances, mainly driven by ethnic and human resource factors. Ethnically, Israel is the world's only nation with Jews as the majority. When Israel calls Jews scattered worldwide, their ethnic solidarity brings many, especially those facing discrimination, back without hesitation. Human resource-wise, with small territory and populations surrounded by enemies, attracting immigrants boosts strength against threats. Israel treats immigration as key talent acquisition. Hearing of fewer immigrants on year-end news feels like a drought warning, bad news to citizens. And during elections, prime ministerial candidates constantly pledge to bring millions more immigrants if elected. Rough stats show 9 in 10 Israeli Jews are immigrants or first or second generation descendants. For any country, accepting immigrants is a huge economic burden, feeding, housing, educating, employing, and providing social welfare. Though these waves brought massive burdens, they also delivered top talent that fueled Israel's miraculous economic growth. Take Stanisha Bless, Polish-born Jew and founder of Metafin, the world-renowned drip irrigation company. In the 1930s, he came to Israel and became chief engineer at the National Water Company. He accidentally noticed a thriving tree in a neighbor's yard that should have been water-starved. Research revealed the tree grew steadily due to slow seepage from an underground pipe. So he invented drip irrigation and founded Metafin. This technology boosted Israel's crop yields by 50% while saving 40% water. making Israel a leader in desert agriculture. Today, Medifine operates across 110 plus countries, spanning 5 continents. Oh, Israel's immigration policy has turned the country into a home for over 70 ethnic groups, with the highest proportion of engineers and scientists per capita globally. It's immigration that enabled Israel's rapid rise from enemy encirclement to become the world's premier startup nation. The second aspect of Israel's talent strategy is developing higher education to boost high-tech talent ratios. Israel doesn't just recruit talent overseas, it heavily invests in educating its own people. 45% of Israelis have university degrees, among the world's highest rates. Many top universities existed even before the nation's independence. Israel declared statehood in 1948, yet Hebrew University was founded way back in 1918. Dubbed Israel's MIT, the Technion Israel Institute of Technology was established in 1925. Israel's educational focus has paid rich dividends. Innovative systems, Israeli academic institutions pioneered commercializing research, massively boosting tech innovation and trade. Though brain drain affects every nation, those who leave often circle back eventually. When their homeland grows stronger, it becomes prime real estate for innovation and business, naturally pulling talent home. This is called talent circulation. In 2004, Cisco launched the CRS-1 router with a staggering 92 terabit per second switching capacity. Back when standard wireless transferred 54 megabits per second, this Guinness record setter was created by an Israeli, Michael Lior, who'd left Israel for Cisco in California, became their chief engineering architect over 11 years. In 1997, when Lior decided to return, Cisco, unwilling to lose him, let him establish their first overseas R&D center in Israel. This sparked $1.2 billion in Cisco investments in Israeli companies, founding and acquiring numerous firms. Oh, imagine if Michael Lior hadn't decided to return home, then Cisco's massive investment wouldn't have happened in Israel, nor brought those economic opportunities. Of course, attracting talent isn't the goal. Unleashing their potential is. That brings us to the third aspect of Israel's talent strategy: funding support. To back startups and self-funding gaps, Israel created a government venture capital fund, offering huge financial support. The most famous venture fund is Yozma, launched in 1993. Yozma, Hebrew for initiative, saw the government invest $100 million to create 10 new venture funds. Each fund required 3 partners: an Israeli venture capitalist, a foreign VC firm, and an Israeli investment firm or bank. Yozma's genius? Government acted as non-profit catalyst, guiding without controlling. It set investment directions but stayed hands-off, keeping it market-driven. Essentially, the government lent investment money. If you failed, you owed nothing. But if you struck gold, you only repaid the initial investment plus interest. The government shouldered most risk and proactively returned profits to investors. For new projects, the government took a 40% equity stake. After 5 years, if successful, investors got first dibs to buy all shares at a discount. Meaning, while sharing risks, the government handed all profits to investors. For investors, this was a rare golden opportunity. Yozma's impact? Massive. Propelled 20-plus firms to NASDAQ listings, strengthened Israel's VC ecosystem, fueled capital supply, ignited national startup passion, and birthed countless tech firms like ICQ, the instant messenger backed by Yossi Vardi, Israel's startup godfather, invented by 4 Jewish guys around 20. In November 1996, with backing from Yossi Vardi's seed fund, ICQ officially launched, hitting 1 million users in just 6 months. Back then, internet access was rare. Only 22% of US households had it. In 1998, AOL bought this software for $407 million. a record Israeli tech exit that captivated the nation and fueled startup fever. By land and population, Israel's tiny, but by startup quantity and quality, massive. This contrast is staggering. It stems from Israel's fierce survival instinct and powerful foresight. While driven by unique national sentiment and politics, its core lessons are universally valuable. Well, that's Startup Nation. That concludes our reading. Notes are below the audio. See you tomorrow.